this thing.
Totally. And that's for me something that really helps with that is exercise.
Sure.
And I think that also, I didn't have any postpartum depression. At least I think I didn't. I mean,
what do you think causes that?
I think there's a variety of factors. I mean, so for one, your during pregnancy, your estrogen levels, they go through the roof. I mean, it's like 100-fold higher. And
100-fold?
Something like that.
Wow.
Like it's really high compared to your baseline. And don't quote me. I mean, something like that, like of just orders and orders of magnitude higher. And estrogen has been shown to increase the expression of a gene called tryptophan hydroxylase 2 in the brain that produces serotonin from tryptophan. So you're constantly making serotonin, constantly. And then, after you have the baby, that goes away. So it's kind of like a withdrawal. So that's sort of one biochemical explanation. But there are many others. One, I think your circadian rhythm is off. You're not getting enough light because you're like nesting. You're like, I don't think we left. I mean, I don't even remember going outside for like 2 weeks, maybe.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, especially with the difficult breastfeeding part. So it was like you're constantly inside. You're not getting that bright light exposure. Your sleep is completely disrupted. So your circadian rhythm, which is, extremely important for mood, for the way you feel, that is completely disrupted because you're waking up, multiple times a night, and that's completely gone. And it's stressful. It's like completely new experience. You have this like very fragile baby, that you're responsible for. And so I think that combination of all these things really can play a role in that. And for me, I really tried to make sure I was getting exercise as soon as I could, so that is something, because exercise, for a variety of reasons. One, it's been shown to increase the production of serotonin by getting transport of tryptophan into the brain. So branched chain amino acids, which are found in a variety of proteins, they can outcompete tryptophan to get into the brain. And so if you're not exercising, you're constantly getting the branched chain amino acids in the brain, which are serving other important roles, but you're not getting that tryptophan. So you're not getting the precursor to make serotonin. And so the exercise alleviates that competition. Branched chain amino acids get taken up into your muscle, where they're used to help build muscle, which is good. And the tryptophan gets into the brain, so you're making serotonin. That's one. Two, you're making endorphins. Beta endorphins help. So that's another thing. And then you're increasing the production of new neurons through serotonin, also through brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That also has been shown to help alleviate depression and prevent depression. The actual neurogenesis, the thing that helps you stave off brain aging, which, by the way, there was 14 clinical trials that have been analyzed looking at humans that undergo like aerobic exercise and how they have like their left part of their hippocampus doesn't like atrophy like people who do not exercise, so that's like because of the neurogenesis, but that's another reason.
So you can visually see it atrophy? Use some sort of an MRI or something?
Yeah. Have you ever looked, if you like Google like Alzheimer's disease brain, like there's images all over the place where they show like before and after, and there's just like big holes in the brain. I mean, it's just like...
Well, I
did
like, because someone was comparing it to a football player. What's the guy's name who fell off the car?
So what's interesting is for me, after pregnancy, like I couldn't wait to go out running. And so I think it was 4 weeks in, after 4 weeks postpartum, I went out for a run.
I saw your Instagram post.
Yeah. Okay. So I went out for a run. I was super excited. That's probably the only post I did, because what I found out as I was running is I didn't feel so great. Like I felt like my bladder felt full, even though it wasn't. Like, and so I would stop and go to the bathroom like on my run, and then I was like, okay, and then run again. It still felt full, and I was like, this is not normal. Like this, so I went to my OBGYN, talked to him, and apparently your pelvic floor like changes after having a baby, and that can like, fall down and kind of hit your bladder a little. And so it feels, some women actually like pee and urinate when they're running. Like I never had it like that. Well, he looked at my pelvic floor. It was like, on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being the best, you're a 1. And I'm like, really? Because I feel like a 7, And so he was like, well, you probably shouldn't have started running so soon, so don't do that. Why don't you start doing some low-impact exercise and start doing these like strengthening your pelvic floor with like Kegels and like some core strengths, which I've been doing. So I was like, crap, what am I going to do? Like running, I would just walk out the door and go, run. And that was like my escape. So I started doing this cycling class, high intensity interval cycling class, which is, it's an hour long and it's a spin class, but it's not like the dancey spin. So it's a spin class where you do hills and sprints, and it's an hour long, but you're mixing it with just aerobic, and so you get these sprints and these hills, and I mean I really 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 like it for multiple reasons. One is the group setting where I feel like the people around me, I'm like, they're still going at it, so it's like motivating. So I keep going too. There's something about that group that really like I push. If it were just me on that bike for an hour, there's no way I would be pushing it like I do. Like I am pushing it. It's like amazing pushing it.
Yeah. I feel that way about yoga class. Same thing.
Yeah.
I think
or
yoga
the group.
classes, everyone's sort of feeding off each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also having the instructor, like there's a couple instructors that I really, really like, and because they like their style and they're kind of more like coaches than the kind of instructor that kind of makes you want to feel. There's the instructor that's like their cheerleader, kind of want to make you feel good, and then there's the instructor where they're like a coach, where they're trying to help you get better. So I got into this high intensity interval training, and I've never really been into it that much. Like I would do some like jump squats and things like that, like at home. But this is the first time I'm like really at structured environment and really doing it. So I started reading about it, like wanting to know, because that's how I am. If I do something, I'm like, well, I want to look into it, and either it'll motivate me to like really keep it up and do it more, or I'll be like, nah, this isn't good. So I started reading more and more about it, and it's amazing. The benefits